everybody. It's 5 o'clock on Friday. This is downtown Edmonton, and everybody is clearing out of downtown. It's a brisk March evening, and they're all going home to their warm homes. But the reality is, in Edmonton, we have over 3,000 people experiencing homelessness. And to top that off, as an Indigenous singer-songwriter, it was very hard for me to realize that 61% of the people who are experiencing homelessness in the Edmonton area identify as Indigenous. Everybody deserves a place to call home. Rancho to cash just before rent was due. A week to payday, so you do what you always do. Head down to the pawn shop, got that strap in hand. Well, it's been 2 months since you played with the band. Still $100 show, what's a poor boy to do? Swallow that pride, call up a friend or two. 2 hours later, got that phone in your hands. Gotta select your caller, mom and dad. And what would you do if no one picked up the phone? With no family or friends, you walk these streets alone. We all deserve a place to call our own. We all deserve a place to call our own. We all deserve a place to call home. Only 2 weeks in and you're sleeping rough. Not much choice, you only had $100. Head down to the shelter, got your bag in hand, but you got beat up, and then you got banned. So you wander these streets, what's a poor boy to do? When it's down to survival, you do what you gotta do. A friend's got a couch, but a wandering hand, another free in life, and now you understand just what you do. No one picks up the phone. With no family or friends, we walk these streets alone. We all deserve a place to call our own. We all deserve a place to call our own. We all deserve a place to call home.
You are listening to CKMS 102.7 FM Radio Waterloo, and that was A Place to Call Home by Trent, Agecoutay. We are Two White Feather, Lori Gentle Eagle, Cedar the Emotional Support Pup, and her wolf pack, Rogue, Arrow, and Rufus. This is the Red Road Journey, where we aim to amplify Indigenous voices to heal ourselves, our relatives, our communities, and our planet. We are broadcasting from the traditional territories of the Neutral, Anishinaabe, and Haudenosaunee people. And today, on the Red Road Journey radio show, both Two White Feather and I are going to reflect on some newsworthy articles that we've come across as of late. The first article that caught our attention was one reflecting on the rally which took place outside City Hall on March the 26th. And a number of community members, many of whom support Acorn, were there to delegate for a municipal renovation bylaw. Acorn, incidentally, has been campaigning for this since they formed the local chapter 3 years ago. Acorn worked with Councillor Debbie Chapman, who presented a motion to strengthen city staff's current recommendations. The vote was deferred until April the 13th, so that's this coming Monday. And we really encourage you to tune in either virtually or in person. And if you do have a story to share or a point to raise, we encourage you to check out the City of Kitchener's website on how to become a delegate. There are some guidelines there, and of course, a timeline for when you can register. So what is a renoviction? Well, a renoviction is the eviction of a tenant by a landlord claiming they need to renovate or demolish a unit. Often, a bad faith tactic, landlords use this to empty units, perform minimal upgrades, and re-rent at significantly higher market rates, avoiding rent control. There are some warning signs of a renoviction. No permits. The landlord has not secured or applied for the necessary building permits. Unnecessary work. The requested repairs are minor and could be done while the tenant is still living there. Pressure to sign. Landlords may pressure tenants to sign an N11 form, which is an agreement to end the tenancy, to bypass legal processes. No right of first refusal. The landlord fails to offer the tenant a chance to return to the unit after the renovations are done at the same rent. There is a process to follow. Landlords typically issue an N13 notice in Ontario, stating that the unit must be vacant for repairs. And tenants in Ontario have the right to challenge these evictions at the Landlord and Tenant Board. And if they stay, the landlord must prove the renovation requires a vacant unit. Unfortunately, Two White Feather and I know the experience of a renoviction all too well. And we're going to get to that very shortly here. But first up, we're going to play another song. And this one we've played before, but thought it was very fitting. It's called Indian Song, and it's by Isaac Murdoch.
You see me on the corner, sitting on 22nd Street. Do you have a couple quarters? It'll make you feel so complete. As I sit on my cardboard box as the cold wind blows, I keep on hearing voices, they're yapping all day long. I wish they'd stop and listen and just sing my favorite songs. Some good old-fashioned powwow Indian songs. Mother, I need you to know that I miss you. And Father, I wonder if you're still there. My medication's on vacation, and my mind, it keeps on racing, leaving me nowhere to go. I need my Indian song. Thunderbird is going to come down and pick me up and take me back to my old lands. And once I'm there, I'm going to start searching for that sacred medicine. And that sacred medicine is going to search for me. And once we are united, we're going to cast this all across the earth for you and your people, so that you too can be well, so that you too can be healed.
Okay, so that was Indian Song by Isaac Murdoch. And, there definitely is a connection between, having a roof over your head and being well emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. And I mentioned that Two White Feather and I know the process of a renoviction all too well. And I'm going to share what Two White Feather and I will be bringing forward at the City Council meeting on Monday. So again, that's this coming Monday, April the 13th. We are taking up space virtually this evening to vote for a renoviction bylaw that respects the voices of all our relations who've been displaced because of actions fueled by greed, dishonesty, unexamined privileges, and the myth that help is out there for those willing to help themselves. My name is Lori LaFond, and I have resided in Waterloo Region and contributed over 3 decades of social work to this community and other communities concurrently, not unlike my ancestors who had to work many jobs to make ends meet. Currently, I am a senior with both visible and invisible disabilities who continues to work full-time, even though a remote work accommodation is being questioned by my employer. At the same time, I act as a live-in caregiver to a First Nations person impacted so deeply by colonization and multi-generational trauma that he is left to survive with a concurrent disorder and neurodevelopmental challenges. In turn, he acts as my arms and legs when necessary. We have lived and living experience of renoviction, and it isn't the increasingly popularized story where the landlord of a building has served an N13 to tenants with the underlying goal of renting units at higher prices in the future. We had a landlord who refused to repair a faulty water heater that caused repeat incidents of flooding, which led to damage to carpets that he would not replace until we involved property standards. And even then, he manipulated us into doing most of the repairs for a rent reduction. And after that was completed, he asked us to vacate. We had to negotiate for 120 days notice as the landlord believed he could give 30 days and then 60 days notice. We were not eligible for compensation because the work was court ordered. This landlord further squeezed monies from us by threatening to go to the landlord and tenant board after we had vacated if we did not return in the spring to clean up dog waste and garbage, recycling, scrap that he refused to put out to the curb on garbage days. We arranged for helpers that we had to pay $200 for that cleanup, just to keep the peace and to find closure. After leaving that unit in November, we entered into a similar situation, unbeknownst to us. We were greeted with cockroaches that delayed our move-in and had a list of repairs that were made known within a month of living there, to which this landlord responded with a promise to look at once he returned to the country. 2 months passed without working appliances and electrical outlets, having to do makeshift blockades for flooding through our door and window, watching as part of the ceiling fell down in the living room, fighting with waste management who refused to pick up garbage because the dwelling was improperly classified by the landlord. Only when property standards were called by neighbors about yard maintenance issues did the landlord appear. It wasn't to do repairs. It was to pressure us to clean up and to tell us that the repairs needed were requiring us to leave the unit. This landlord applied our last month's rent and said we had 50 days to vacate. 50 days to vacate a unit we had been in for 3 months after already being renovicted from a former place, a fact that this landlord had knowledge of upon us signing the lease. We refused to enter into this landlord's cash for keys deal and asked for legal notice. He retaliated with serving an N4 for the deposit he decided to apply at a time that met his needs. You see, the second landlord rented us an illegal basement that he had already been ordered to renovate, and he had an inspection date of April the 30th. When we told him we would be exercising our rights, he raised concerns about how the contents of our home are stored in boxes and preventing him from getting in to do repairs. Never did he acknowledge that we have had to repack, move belongings, dispose of things damaged at our own expense because of his negligence. Once again, court-ordered repairs means no compensation. And when you are in a home, as opposed to an apartment building, there are no other units that you can be relocated to temporarily. It has been said by one of the city councillors that if it becomes too cost prohibitive for landlords to do necessary renovations, that we could find people living in substandard conditions. But that is already happening in far too many situations that don't get talked about because of sheer desperation, resignation, punitive actions they can't afford to fight, and services that discriminate against who they are able to help instead of working to change that. In addition to bare minimum protections like reimbursement for repairs, temporary accommodations at the same rent or rent gap payments during renovations, and moving costs being covered, we would also like consideration being given to mandatory certification for landlords to foster tenancies that are legal, promote human dignity, increase housing stability, prevent homelessness, and most importantly, build strong communities. And we would like help to be available to those like us who are also falling through the cracks, despite being limited by income cutoffs that don't take into account the rising cost of living, differing abilities, and, might I add, to those who are indigenous to this land. As if being displaced is not enough, we are tired of being told to access services that will only work with us if we agree to break up what constitutes our, quote, family, or, quote, household unit, which centers around mutual aid in order to qualify for monies that we need to pay back or to be added to housing wait lists 10 years plus. So that is our piece that we intend to present in some capacity on Monday, April the 13th at the City Council meeting. And we may make some revisions here and there to that, but that essentially is some of the points that we wanted to get across. And we would love to hear from you about your stories, your viewpoints on this issue, because even though the vote is coming up, this is something that's not going away anytime soon. So please, if you have more to add to this, contact us at awomwithaview@gmail.com. We're going to play some more music. This next one is Home to Me with singers from Grassy Narrows First Nation.
Home to me, going by.
This next one is When You Know, Matt Epp featuring Serena Ryder.
So today, I would like to chit chat about something that's near and dear to my heart. Someone that I don't know, but somewhere where I've been and I went to school. So, Effie Medill in Wingham Secondary School. Let's just start off with this. I've been bullied there. That was my very first high school I went to, and I was bullied. But today I would like to talk about someone that was set on fire there at Medill. And a grade 9 that was bullied. And he was set on fire in the middle of the high school in a hallway. So I'm going to play a little clip, a news clip, on sort of what had happened. And then we're going to talk about that.
Police in Huron County say a student suffered life-threatening injuries at a high school this morning. According to police, emergency responders were called to F.E. Medill Secondary School around 8:30 a.m. A student was on fire, found in a school hallway, and airlifted to a trauma center. Police have not said what set the student on fire in the first place. According to school board officials, the school will remain closed for at least the rest of the week, shifting to online learning starting tomorrow.
Yeah, it was an individual that unfortunately they suffered life-threatening injuries. They are in stable condition, but still critical, and they were airlifted by Orange EMS to a trauma center.
So it's just a small little clip, but from my research, I guess I don't want to say too much, but I guess there was gas involved, and this was some older people from F.E. Medill, so I'm not sure what grades they were in, but this is the form of bullying now in 2026, and it's very disgraceful. I'm not even sure what other word I could use, but it baffles me to hear and see what kind of bullying is being done now, and it's going to the extent of almost hurting people to the extent of, they could almost been killed. And I want to pray for this kid that he will pull through, and it sounds like he is in stable but still in critical condition, and it really hurts me because I went there and I was bullied, and I'm First Nations, but he wasn't. But still though, like, this is crazy to hear that what's going on in the world, and this is so close to home that it really hurts me. And the mom didn't want to comment or anything because I get it, so she didn't really want to comment, and like I said, all she could say was that always tell your kids that you love them, even before they go to school, because you don't know what's going to happen. So,
and she also, cautioned people to be nicer. And I know Two White Feather didn't mention this part, but in other newscasts, what they were talking about was what went on afterwards as well, which is equally as horrendous. And that's all of the stuff that was happening on social media. There were people who had released pictures of what happened on social media. So please do the right thing and don't spread any of that over social media. This is traumatic for so many people involved and impacted by, right? I mean, here's Two White Feather telling his story years after the fact, and it's hard for him to get through.
So right now we're gonna play a song. It's a song that the mother had chosen. I guess it was one of his favorite song. So we're gonna play this song for him. So the song is gonna be Disturbed, Down with the Sickness. So here it is. So, like I was saying, like the mom was saying that you should always tell your kids that you love them. Doesn't matter if they're going to school or if they're going out to play with their friends. Always tell them that you love them and that you care for them. Because that could be maybe your last time that you could say that to them. If not for a little bit or forever. And like I was saying, I was bullied there too. And, you know, I'm that type of person that I'll freeze, but then I'll fight. Literally fight. I was in so many fights there. I was in grade 9, and it wasn't just like grade 9s or 10s that were picking on me. It was like grade 11s and 12s. And, you know, I just get picked on so bad that, well, first of all, I was the only two of the natives that were there at that high school. So I was always getting picked on. I would try to join sports teams to cope with that and everything. But even the teachers were picking on me. I wouldn't necessarily be playing sports. I'd be just what they would say, a bench warmer, just an extra. And it sucked that it had to be that way, and it sucks for anyone to feel like that, to be bullied and to suffer the consequences. For instance, like this poor child that was set on fire, and I just can't believe that I'm hearing this right now after 20 years and it's still going on. I have no words to say, really, besides maybe some music to try to express on how I'm feeling right now. And it's like I was saying, like the mom was saying, you just gotta stop. Like she was trying to protect her kid, but there's only a certain amount that you can do to protect your kid. And she protected him as best as she could, but he was at school. And where were the teachers at this time? Before this happened, before gas was poured on him and whatnot.
And I'm sure this wasn't an isolated incident, right? I mean, we don't all of a sudden see something as, pardon the pun here, explosive as this, right? Usually there are earlier indications that this has been going on, right?
Yeah, so I just feel so bad for the kid. It takes me back to high school. And high school is supposed to be fun. But, for instance, like for me and him, high school wasn't the greatest for us. But I just want to pray for this kid that he's going to pull through. And he will become stronger. And
you mentioned that there was a GoFundMe that was
yes,
set up?
there's a GoFundMe. I will be posting that with the video. So I would like to put out a challenge. For me, coffee money. Instead of me buying a coffee, I'm going to donate my coffee money to them. And I really encourage you guys to donate as well too. Like I said, even if it's $1, it goes a long way to show the family that there are people out there that care and really want bullying to stop. So I really encourage you guys to donate even $1 or your coffee money so that we can help support this family through this hard time. It's really hard for me to hear this and talk about this because, like I said, I was bullied there. And where were the teachers at that time too? It wasn't just one day. It was constant. Like I said, the teachers were even bullying me. And it took one person to stand up, and that was the student president. His name was Joe when I was there. But at that time, I was just so sick and tired of the bullying that even though he stood up for me, I moved away. And that was the time that I dropped out of high school because I just couldn't do it anymore. At that time, I don't want to, like, I guess, yeah. Soon after, then I dropped out because I was just sick and tired of the bullying. I was coming down the hill, riding my bike down the hill, and I saw this transport truck. And I purposely got him to hit me. I biked in front of the transport truck, and I got hit. Because I just wanted to, and that was the start of me hurting myself, because I thought that, you know what, instead of other people hurting me, why not I hurt myself, because of all the bullying that has occurred, not just in high school, but in public school where it started. So with that, I'm going to play another song. And this is sort of the one I like. It's Creed, One Last Breath. So here it is. Oh yeah, Creed, One Last Breath. This is a song I always played back in the day, especially when I was feeling down.
Please come now, I think I'm falling, seems I found the road to nowhere, and I'm trying to escape. I am back when I heard thunder, but I'm down to one last breath. And will it let me say, oh now, I'm 6 feet from the edge, and I'm thinking, maybe 6 feet is so far down. I'm looking down, now that it's over.
So, before I play the last few songs that are more upbeat and more happier, I guess this is sort of selfish for me to say, but this is one of the reasons why I don't want to have a kid or bring a kid in this world. I know that's selfish to say, but, you know, what's the sense of me bringing in a kid and we have to be worried about something like this, or even worse, some other kid, you know, putting my kid in 6 feet underground. I know that's selfish to say, but that's why I don't want to bring a child into this world until the world's a better place. But with that, I want to play Imagine Dragons for more of an upbeat song, more of a happier song to end this radio show today. So here it is, Imagine Dragons. Here it is, Imagine Dragons, Believer, as one of our last few songs. Oh yeah.
Stop. We can't.
So our last song, it's gonna be Gangsta's Paradise. Hook ya! Hook ya! So, this is for all those guys, all those girls out there. This is for us. Stay positive. Be yourself. Gangsta's Paradise by Coolio.
the shadow of death. I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left. Cause I've been blasting and laughing so long that even my mama thinks that my mind is gone. But I ain't never crossed a man that didn't deserve it. He be treated like a punk, you know that's unheard of. You better watch how you're talking and where you're walking, or you and your homies might be lying to chalk. I really hate the trip, but I gotta know. As they croak, I see myself in the pistol smoke. Fool, I'm the kind of G the little homies wanna be like on my knees in the night, saying prayers in the street light.
Woo!
Situation they got me facing. I can't live a normal life. I was raised by the street, so I gotta be there with the hood team. Too much television watching got me chasing dreams. I'm an educated fool with money on my mind. Got my tin in my hand and a gleam in my eye. I'm a loped out gangster, set tripping banker, and my homies is down, so don't arouse my anger. Fool, damn thing, nothing but a heartbeat away. I'm living like do or die. What can I say? I'm 23 now, but will I live to see 24? The way things are going, I don't know. Tell me why are we so blind to see?
Thank you for listening to 102.7 FM radio. This is the Two Right Feather Red Road Bike radio show.
Everybody's running, but half of them ain't looking what's going on in the kitchen. But I don't know what's cooking. They say I got to learn, but nobody's here to teach me. If they can't understand it, how can they reach me? I guess they can't, I guess they won't, I guess they front. That's why I know my life is out of luck, fool. Just standing lost in life, living in a gangster's paradise. We've been standing lost in life, living in a gangster's paradise. We keep standing lost our lives, living in a gangster's paradise. We keep standing lost our lives, living in a gangster's paradise. Tell me why are we so blind to see that the ones we hurt are you and me? Tell me why are we so blind to see that the ones we hurt are you and me?
So once again, thank you for listening to 102.7 FM radio on the Red Road Journey Show. Two Wet Feather and Gentle Eagle, out!